right. Oh yeah! Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. So if you all have not seen the last video that I posted, I'll put a link right here in this video. You all may not know that I got a set of 3 Hoshino Impul rims that I'm wanting to put on the AE86 once it's done. Now the issue with these rims is they are in rough shape, as you can probably see by all the corrosion on that rim and definitely the corrosion on this one. It's definitely going to take a little bit of work, a little bit of DIY magic to see if I can't get these to somewhat of a presentable state and something that I'm proud of to put on this car. And what you all saw in the beginning of this intro was me trying to remove the old rusted hardware off this particular rim. So as you all can tell from this hardware, you can see how absolutely corroded and rusted these pieces were inside that rim. And it took quite the process to get these things actually removed out of that rim. So let me just go over real quick how I did it, just in case some of you all run into a similar situation like this. Of course, PV Blaster's a must. Soaked all the hardware for quite some time. Ended up having to use the Dremel to actually file down the threaded portion of the bolt down to the nut, just to remove as much corrosion as I could, because the nuts wouldn't even back off because there was so much rust. Of course, I used a air gun as well, breaker bar, torch to heat everything up, and hopefully to get some of that corrosion to kind of break free. It was definitely quite the process, but as you can see, all of the hardware was removed, and now we're left with this. So the next step in this process is to remove the corrosion on the face. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to use this right here, a little mini orbital sander with some different grits of sandpaper. All this, actually this I got off Amazon, and this I got off of Harbor Freight. All the links to all of these tools and everything will be in the description below, so make sure to check all that out. I'll also put pricing for everything. This thing was like 12 bucks or something. I got it on their tent sale or something like that. Reviews on this are actually pretty good, so we'll see how it works. So we're gonna be starting off with 180 grit, which is pretty aggressive for aluminum, but we need to remove that pitting and all that corrosion off of the faces. So I definitely don't wanna hit the lips with 180 just because they're not in that bad a shape. So we're gonna take some painter's tape, tape around those lips, and then we're gonna clean the faces to remove all of that PV Blaster oil and get them as clean as we can before we start sanding. So let's go ahead and get into it. And here is how the rim looks so far. Definitely much better than it was, but far from perfect. As you can tell up close, I couldn't quite get all of the oxidation out of here. Some of it is really deep. It had corroded more into the rim than I had thought, even with the slight pitting I uncovered when I was kind of testing this rim. So some of this pitting is just, it's not going to go away. There's just no way for me to get all of this out. And I've also kind of found, you know, there are some areas where I tried to get it out a little bit more. And unfortunately, I think I might have removed a little too much, especially like right here, and then kind of around these holes. And the thing is, it's definitely not going to be perfect. But we're up to about 400. I think it's about right at about 400 grit. And we still have quite a few more to go. But with that being said, again, we are learning this process and trying to figure it out as we go. This is my spare rim, so if I screw it all up, it's not that big of a deal. I do still want a pretty nice result, so I guess we'll see what happens. But for now, let's move on to the little bit higher grit sandpapers. Hey guys, welcome back to day 2 of the JDM Wheel Restoration. As you all could probably tell from the last video, I was having some issues with my camera. Batteries were dying, and for whatever reason, I wasn't able to record certain things, kept saying the files were getting corrupted. So anyway, I had to kind of end it abruptly, but let me tell you where we kind of left off. So the last clip that you all saw, we were dry sanding with 600 grit sandpaper, and basically the next steps for me after that was gonna be wet sand 600, wet sand 800, and then wet sand 1200, and then we were gonna pretty much call it a day. So that's where we're gonna pick up today. I'm gonna try to get up to 120, and then once we get there, I'll probably end this video because I've got some stuff that's coming in the mail that will hopefully help finish the remaining portions of this process and getting this rim all polished up. But first, I wanna go over the rim in its current condition and kind of what it looks like. So a quick recap on this rim. Here's how it currently looks. You can see it is starting to be a little bit polished. You can kind of see a little bit of a reflection right there, which is awesome, but there's still a lot more to go. These are the grits of sandpaper that I've currently gone through. These 2 grits are very aggressive, and if you're gonna be using these, I would suggest just using like a block, just with your hand, block or something like that. Throwing these things on a pneumatic sander is going to eat into aluminum way too harshly. So keep that in mind if you're trying this process. I would probably not use these unless you're removing a lot of oxidation, a very heavy oxidation at that. Next we moved on to 120 grit, then 180, 240, 400, and 600, and that's where we left off with yesterday's video. These grits here are the remaining grits that we need to use. 800, 1000, 1200, 2000 and 3000. The 2000 and 3000 I don't know if I'm going to use quite yet, but definitely 800, 1000, and 1200, and then we'll kind of decide from there where we're going to go. But that's enough talk for now. Let's go ahead and hop back into this rim and sand up to 1200 grit. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and make sure to stay tuned for more updates on this Hoshino Impul wheel restoration. I gotta say, the rim is looking great, but by the time we're done with it, it's gonna look brand new. Well, at least I hope it's gonna look brand new. And of course, I have not forgotten about the AE86. We still have some things to do here, including blocking the entire car, which is gonna be in an upcoming video. I just gotta pretty much motivate myself to get out here and do it. Sanding's a lot of work and it's not very fun. So if you like this sort of content and wanna see more, make sure you smash that thumbs up button and consider pressing the subscribe button below to be notified when additional content comes out on this channel. All right guys, that's it. Stay tuned for more AE86 content, and until next time, I'll see you later.